See you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you
Good
so
evening,
much thank you
everybody.
for honoring this invitation.
Right. So my situation was Save the Woman kind of came into our lives after the damage had been done. So my middle son, I had hit him and he went and reported me to his school. So I didn't even have the chance to tell my version of events. Before we knew it, we just got a phone call saying that, you know, social services has been involved and they're taking all three children, because my youngest at the time was only 2 and my eldest is autistic and non-verbal. So that's pretty much what happened. They were put into care. We were not even given an option of, you know, a cultural match or anything like that. They were put with an Asian family. Each time social services came to speak to us and, you know, the guardian came to speak to us, we were accused of being aggressive, which was not true. So when my middle son, who had actually accused me of beating him and everything else, and you know, and we said that no, actually, that's not how things had happened, you know. So once he started making accusations of the foster carers, saying that, you know, they weren't treating him well and so on and so forth, they turned around and they said, well, you know, you have to keep in mind that your son tends to stretch the truth a bit, you know, calling him a liar. So I was like, well, you weren't really calling him a liar when he was making accusations about us as a family, but now suddenly he's a liar. And the one that was affected the most was my eldest son. He lost a lot of weight, the way he, you know, went to school, dirty, that sort of thing. But all of that, when I complained, was just swept under the carpet. And, you know, Save the Woman came into our lives as a family, and they really, really helped us. They armed us with the tools to kind of not fight with the local authority and the guardian, but that knowledge helped us to change the like how we approach things with them. And then, you know, we even told them that, look, each visit now, we will either record this visit, record everything, or we will bring a witness to be, you know, the fourth person who will sit down, so that you don't accuse us of anything that has not been said or not been done. In, you know, if it wasn't for Brother Ola, honestly, he was always on the other end of the call, like, you know, of the phone, to support us as a family, give us advice on, you know, what's the next thing. And they really even wrote an like a formal email to say that, look, these parents have attended the first course, which was compulsory, and they voluntarily, you know, attended 201 as well. And, you know, that was kind of, it carried a lot of weight when, you know, the next court hearing. So it was just unfortunate that, you know, they always found something to hold against us, and what was meant to be sorted out within 8 months ended up taking 19 months for them to finally make a decision, you know, and say, look, we don't have any reason to keep, you know, to keep your children anymore. So the case was, you know, went from November 2020, and we only got the children finally, like this case was finally closed in February of this year. So even after the case was closed, still social services still came to check, I don't know, just check the environment, check our home, which was no different from the last time and the last time and the last time. So eventually my husband, after speaking to Brother Ola, said, listen, unless you have reason to be in my home, do not just come unannounced, please. And that was the last time that we saw them. So honestly, Save the Woman really, really armed us with the proper tools to just approach this case differently. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I think I'm seeing some chat there. Let me see what, thank you for the presentation. Please, please, how do we go about doing this course? Yeah, that's a question. I think let me go. I think there's another. Please, I would like to know more about the courses. I intend migrating to the UK before the end of the year. What do you suggest? So questions, please. Answers. What training is she talking about, please? Probably came in close to the end, or I probably just accepted you into the meeting, but she was talking about the course 201. The 101 is for free. It's about parenting. I know we have said, we've mentioned teenagers, and people by default find a way to just exclude themselves from things that don't really are not immediately relevant to them. But it is good, because these your young ones will grow up to become teenagers. And not only that, some of these children have the brain of teenagers as well. So you would find that they would behave above their age. So I would say it's not so much exclusive to teenage parents of teenagers. Just, that's the way I always tell people about the book that I wrote as well. It's not exclusive to teenagers alone. If you have children and you have the time, please register. Ola, the two questions, how do they go about it? You are muted, or do I have to unmute you?
I've just shared the link now.
Okay, so there is a link there for us to click on.
For the course registration. That's for what's the training about. Training is Advocacy Parental course. It's an online program to empower, equip, and educate our families on what are the UK law, what are the expectations, how do you give birth to your child, so that you not be part of the system. You not be victim of the system. Your children will not be part of the statistics of children taken into care system. It is the local authority responsibility to support, to intervene when there's a concern. So if you want to know more about it, I'm going to share this link, the person that asked the first question. So you can listen to this video to know more about the work of Save the Woman. But the first link I share, you see course 201, but I've also shared a video to listen to. And if you have any other question, if you cannot ask here, please get in touch with Dr. Elijah. He has my direct access, my contact. He can link you up, or he can get it across to you. I've seen another hand that way. They ask you even a year old, if you can talk, or 2 years, will start asking you why. So everything you ask them to do, they must know the reason why they want to do that. Because they tell them in school, oh, this is the school plan, this is how we're going to do it. You remember what Dr. Elijah mentioned, the child that was so smart enough to go and put a Christian cartoon. Mommy is reading Bible and I'm watching Christian cartoon. So what's the difference? Why do you want to treat me different? Why are you denying me my rights? So these are the things we need to learn. That way, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Sorry, okay. Go ahead, Dr. Elijah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Is that Christian?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. I was just going to call you actually because you would have read my book. And audience, we're not marketing anything here, really. We are giving value. And, some people may think, okay, well, it's all about registering, it's all about payment supporting and stuff like or he has put the book that he has written. Our mind may want to trick us and say this thing, but I was going to call Christine because she's read my book. And I know she's going to mention this, but she's had challenges with her children. As young as she looks, she has a good number of kids, and she's managed them very well. And it's just that we knew each other about the time I just written the book, sent it to her, and there's been a great change. So I don't know what you are going to say, but
Okay, thank you, Dr. Elijah. And honestly, Mr. Ola, I love what you're doing and how you've helped so much family, and thanks for sharing. I can't begin to imagine how difficult it would have been, to have your kids taken away from you, gone for a very similar situation as well, as Dr. Elijah mentioned. I think I did. All my kids are born here. I've been here from like a really young age as well. So I was also one of the kids who actually went through the whole foster care system. And so we have 7 kids. It became very challenging, especially when your kids want to get their own ways and then use this system against you. It became a thing where when the kids wanted to have their own way, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. The first thing they want to do is to cry wolf. So I was raised by, although I grew up here, I was raised by I had a very African upbringing. And then, where the rod wasn't spared. So then naturally you grow up wanting to do the same thing. So I guess with the kids, it was always a thing where they were constantly getting into trouble at school. And then I said, I've had enough of this. I mean, you do that the next time, and I will, take it to that level of disciplining. And then, of course, the child went to school and then, made this allegation. So I first and foremost, I blamed myself because I felt that if I had maybe not shared that's what I was going to do, then that wouldn't have happened. So then the school, of course, called me, and then they said to me an allegation was made. I mean, there has been a few allegations actually from, my kids to get their own ways. And honestly, some of them, quite frankly, I think some of the teachers, knowing me, having seen, the kids, when your kids go to the same school, some teachers have seen you. I think there was one instance where a teacher had said, I know this mom, impossible. Whatever this child said, forget it. In fact, she closed the case before it even began. But unfortunately for my son, it was a thing where it went to the school, and then I was called in and I was told, well, your son says so, and that, and that, and that. So please, what do you say on this case? Your son says, you did this and then you did that. And I'm in the school, my son is sat there, and then I'm in front of the teachers. And I said, yeah, actually, I did. I did do that, and I did say that. And she says, oh, but here, that's not how we do things. Besides, there's nobody in this earth who has been smacked that has turned out right. I said, then I'm the first person. Please, let me introduce myself to you. Because unfortunately, I was smacked as a child and I turned out perfectly well. So one of the things I try to make her understand is before you begin to pass your judgment, because she informed me, I'm going to call the social service and all of those things. I said, no, you do what is right. You do what you need to do. But one of the things I'm going to explain to you is, first and foremost, I didn't break God's law, because the Bible says, if you love your child, do not spare him the rod. Secondly, in England, where I live, you can actually spank a child. So I said, so which law did I break? And I said, let me tell you where the history behind me thinking that if I smack my son, that's how I'm going to get the best result. I said, this all started from slavery. My grandfather was smacked, and that's how they felt they could get the best result. So naturally, it's in my DNA, because I have come from slavery, that, maybe if I smack, I'm going to get the best result. And I said, guess what? This was not taught by a Black person to me. This was actually taught by a white man. Smack, and then you're going to get the slave to do exactly what you want to do. So I said, I'm simply doing something that has been in my DNA from, you know, centuries after centuries after centuries. Now, is it against the law to smack? And I asked her the question, and she says, no, it isn't. So I said, so why am I here? Of course, they still escalated it to the social service, and I told them the exact same thing. But one of the things I said to the lady was this: I live in London, and in London, we already know how it is, you know, children against children violence. It's crazy in London. And I said to her, if I'm not as tough with my kids as I am, my son, when he's 16, he will be the child that you see at the bus stop, you run in a different direction. Because naturally, when people come in and they see a Black child, they're more afraid than the Black child, one Black child, than there will be if they see a group of white children there. I said, which direction would you go, where the one Black child is standing or the other direction? I said, please, you know already where I am. I have to be tough on my child. And you can't tell me as a white lady how to educate my Black son until you raise a Black child in this UK where there's so much racism. Please spare your parental advice for me. Let me educate my child how I know best as a Black mother. My child will be the person that if he's seen with a group of Black boys, everybody avoids when they see the Black kids. What we are doing as parents is to prevent that. We have to work twice as hard to bring up our kids. And if you don't like it, tough. So I was fortunate enough to have an African social worker. So when they did make the call, they sent the report, and you know, a call was made to the house, and then the gentleman said, oh, this is what has come from the school. I said, look how old my son is. I have a daughter that's in university. If none of my kids died in my hands, trust me, I have no intentions to kill them. You don't understand the birth, the labor, 44 hours of labor. If I didn't kill him when he was a baby, very annoying, I won't kill him now. My son's fine. And I think it was really at that point where they shut it down. They shut the whole case down. And then I sat my kids and made them understand that you have to really be careful as to how far you want boundaries to be pushed. Because I know you guys probably hate mom for being tough. You probably don't understand me. And then I must say, Dr. Elijah's book helped me so much, because I think I was struggling to understand them. I hadn't dealt with teens before. All my kids were so young, and all of a sudden I just felt like I had, you know, one teenager here, one there, and especially that the teenagers, they're quite close in age. So we really struggled. So one of the things I did, actually, Dr. Elijah's book is here. I'm actually going to pull out 2 books. So Dr. Elijah's book was one of the books that I read with my kids. So we actually went through it, and it was, you know, enabled for me to understand them and for them to also understand me. So I read this book, we went together, and then we kind of did it as a family topic. And then also with what Mr. Olu was sharing, I actually have his book here by a gentleman for whom I work with. He actually shares his experience of growing up in the foster care and how difficult it has been for him. I mean, if I knew this was what was going to take place in this meeting, I honestly would have invited him. Maybe he would have also shared his story on what it's been like living in the foster care system, and all of the things you shared was very similar to what is actually even in this book. So at some point when he rebelled against the foster family, he was put in an adult psychiatric ward when he was actually 13. And that was a terrible experience for him. But then, of course, till today, he's in his 69 and he hasn't had any kids. And I'm sure it's all the traumatic experience he faced being in the foster care system. So I'm so grateful we had this meeting, and honestly, we are going to have a next one. If you guys permit me, I would love to also invite more people to experience this. And so I would definitely try and get the recording of this and then send it to my CEO. I think you'll be really interested in this project that you're doing, because it's something which is very close to his heart and also close to mine. And I'm really grateful that there is an organization like yours that's actually out there to help families. I mean, if I had not even known this, I probably would have still been fighting this case by myself, you know. So now I'm grateful to know you're here, because if these people want to come up and bring something more, now I know I've got an army that can literally come behind me and support me to come out of this
situation. So honestly, I don't know what to say, but this was a powerful session. And I mean, very, very strong. Cherry also, I don't know how you guys were able to, so I don't know how you've done it. Imagine 4 years of not seeing your kids. I have so much respect for you and Dr. Ola. It's amazing what you're doing.
Us would actually equip us know how to, into the system, just the way, you have experienced it, Mariam.
Can I just add something, Brother Elijah? It's just a quick one, that to our brothers and sisters that are not in the UK yet, it is very important for you to even attend this course before you come to the UK. Simply because one of the videos that Brother Ola did, he mentioned the racism in this country, the way our Black children are treated differently to white children. And it finally clicked in my head because one of my neighbors, well, she's not a direct neighbor, but she lives up the road, a white lady. I found she does drugs, any sort of drug she can find, she does drugs. So she's a single mom, and that's the only way that she copes. So her daughter one day, social services are involved in her life, but only at the level of, is it called early help, where you are not on the system, but they just come and support you if you're struggling, sort of thing. You're not going to court, nothing. And while I was struggling, my children were taken away just because of, one incident. Her daughter, I literally saw her one day, she was 1.5 years, walking down the street on her own in nothing but her nappy. And her mother was too high to even notice that the child is not in the house. So I grabbed that girl, walked her back up to her house. I knocked and I knocked and I knocked, but the mother was just, she had passed out. Social services know about her drug problem, but they have not taken that girl into care for 1 day. Yet I was questioned, my children were taken, yet for her, it's just, oh, she needs support, help, so on and so forth, in order for her to be a better parent. So long as your skin color is Black or that sort of thing, you will always be treated differently. Your child will always be treated differently. And this is what, 2 years down the line now, her child is still with her. So please, brothers and sisters, attend this course so you know what is going on in the UK and you know what to expect. Because so long as you are Black, that racism, it is so high. They just see a Black boy or a Black child as a risk to the community, whether they've done anything or not. No, they are a risk because they are Black. That is it. Sorry to just waste take up your time, but I just felt that I needed to say that and just put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think, to some people, especially the audience, you may think that these are extreme, narratives of the situation, but the truth is that it is a silent reality. You would see it when you start training as well. We just have to, the only solution is that we are here and we just have to be, strategically positioned, strategically relate to the system and to make sure that everything is for our own, or it works for our good and we get to the benefit of the system. Yeah, and that is why I've put this out, so that it's just all part of it and is even the foundation. It's not that we don't know, my colleagues, the doctors are here, it's not that we don't know the management differentials. We've gone through all the qualification exams. get us to this place, but one of the things, so this my platform may be quite unusual, I've left, I've told you people that it's not that we're not going to do the portfolio or any of these other things, but I'm systematic about the approach going about this, and that is why for parents in particular we have done this. Christine, I wanted you to just raise those books up properly so that people can see the other book as well that you showed us. I know you were kind of I won't say shy, but you didn't. Are you still around, or you've gone to do other things?
Oh, I'm actually here. I was.
Okay. Sorry.
I think it's because
The
maybe
other
it's because
book as well.
pinned you. I was literally showing the books actually
Okay.
on the video. So this book in particular
Against
here.
all odds, yeah.
Yes, please.
Jack.
It's about. It says a true story of a remarkable true story of a stray kid who becomes a millionaire. So this is the story in question of the gentleman who went into foster care because his father lost his job. He then attached his self-worth to his net worth and then committed suicide. The mom, because she was a stay-at-home mom, she ended up alcohol abuse. And then just what actually Cherry was sharing with us. The father died when the child was 5. The mom was still left with the kids for a further 2 years whilst she was, doing alcohol abuse. And this gentleman, who at the time was 5, his sister being 8, would sometimes put marshmallows on a stick and then feed it to him and say, let's pretend we're camping. So imagine if an 8-year-old is having to look after a 5-year-old brother, why was the kids not taken earlier on? It then only came about when the mom had an alcohol abuse and then lost the kids. But then like what Cherry said, it would have, in a Black family, this child would have gone a long time ago, but then ended up from one foster care to the next, and then because he protested, ended up being put in an adult psychiatric ward. So that is that story. He ends up selling drugs because he was a child. He had more rules, more leniency. So the adults ended up asking him to buy drugs for them outside and then bring it inside. He continued that until the age of 15, where he was later on actually rescued by a church. A pastor in the church ended up fostering him. And then he stayed in that church till he was 19 and ended up setting up a company that educates family about finances. And the second book that I was talking about was Dr. Elijah's book that I read is the Teenager's Guidebook. So of course I mentioned I did struggle a lot. My oldest daughter was very lenient, so she was one of those kids where we had a lot of dialogue. So she understood when mom was going through a lot, and then she would literally sometimes leave you alone. But then you have other kids that, it's I think my approach to parenting was a one size fits all, but then all the other kids were so different from the oldest one. So I think that's where I really struggled, because I had the same approach that how she was, they're automatically going to be the same. She gave me no trouble, so they won't give me trouble. When they started, it was just like, Lord, what do I do? And then I remember meeting Dr. Elijah, and he spoke to me about this book. I mean, when I read it and I said to myself, wow, Christiane, I mean, where have you been living, in a cave? So not only did I read this book first, I started then I can't stress how this book has helped me. I literally helped me to see it through their perspective, and then with them reading it with me help them also to kind of see it from my perspective also. So I feel that as a family, we've grown, and we read this book now. I even with I have a few more that are younger. I keep this book like this is so neat because I intend to read it with them also. So I really want them to partake, because I think it's really helped us to understand each other, and then it's helped me to also understand that I can't have a one size fits all approach when it comes to raising my kids. So yeah, Dr. Elijah's book, I'm your biggest fan.
I think what I did with the book is because it's more like I just explained some of the common questions that teenagers or children ask. So most of the chapters will start with why. And I think it's either Mariam or someone that mentioned, or maybe it was Olatu that mentioned why they, yeah, it was Ola that said, even the 1-year-old will ask you why am I doing this? So it's a short book, about 175 pages, 5 main parts, and a few chapters in each of the parts. And I'll just talk about the parts. It just talks about identity. The part 2 is about outlook. Part 3 is about your health. Part 4 is about your education. And part 5 is about peer pressure. And under each of these parts are, more topics that they would have asked. So take, for example, for education, what about education? I explained, why do I have to go to school? Why do I have to do my homework? Or why do I have to do household chores, right? I asked my daughter one time that, why do you think daddy should also wash his plates or do these things? She said, yes. So I told her that, oh, so then you should go to work too now. If daddy has to wash his plate or wash his spoon, I'm doing something, you should also contribute. And that was how our discussion, So it's just in conclusion, I think I don't want to stress so much about what we've done or what we have, but all is a value to help. Christine, I have much respect for you, your strength and courage. Thank you for sharing. And so I think the same person said systematic racism is real and very present in the UK. Difference between UK and the US is the British like to pretend it doesn't exist. So if we know that they pretend that it does not exist, we should also, educate ourselves on how to go about it. It's all about education. It's all about, knowing what to expect, right? Ola, any closing words before we close, or any questions anybody have, please?
And also, Dr. Elijah, a quick one. I think one of the things I found very beneficial when it came to reading this book with my family, with my kids, was on page 112 of Dr. Elijah's book. He actually addresses, those questions sometimes that you don't want to discuss with your kids. Well, in fact, the title of that was, why can't I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend now? So in my household, we've all 7 kids. We've only got 2 that are boys, and all the other kids are much older, and all the others are girls. So, of course, with girls, you do not want them to get into that very early. And at times, I think they kind of felt that this is just mom pushing her rules. So when we actually did this book, and when we got to this topic, they realized, wow, it's not just mom who feels like that, because this book wasn't written by mom. For them to then understand that this is something most parents don't want their kids to do, especially at a particular age, I think it really made, and I think once my daughter read this, she said to me, Mom, do you know what? I think I'm going to wait. And I think for me, that was relief, because I think when you do have girls, you struggle when it comes to that, because the peer pressure for them to get in relationships, and at times it's just, oh, Mom, maybe you're too old fashioned. So when she read this and thought, oh, why can't I have a boyfriend? I think my daughter was reading through this to try and find points why she should have one. But after, when she finished that chapter, she said, okay, that's fine, Mom, I'll wait. And I'm like, fantastic. Can you wait till you're 25? That would be ideal. So don't know if we're going to get to 25, but my daughter certainly now going to 17, and then she's completely she's still waiting. So I think that's the reason why I love the fact that we could do this book together.
Thank you very much. There's another part there that says, why can't I have sex now? Yeah, I know most people go through that chapter once they get it. Ola, I know you. I promise you the book. I'll get it to you.
Yeah.
But two things. Okay, well, let me let you speak, and I'll close up. Nobody has questions.
Thank you very much. I don't have anything to say than to say thank you to you, Dr. Elijah, and Christian, and Cherry, and Mariam for coming on board. But what I want to tell the people on the board is this: there's no word Save the Man has ever used. Cannot be backed up by evidentially researched. Can you see a screen I share now?
Yes.
There's a panorama going on now. Just you can see this is May 16, 2022. This is a reality, new thing. TV investigation aims to highlight trauma faced by families from wrongful child protection action. Wrongful. When they criminalize you that, oh, the child made a disclosure, and whether it is true or not, they penalize you for that. However, there's something that said, it absolutely does blight children's lives, she said. Many of them will never recover from intervention of the state into their families when it is done badly. So who paid that price when the life is being destroyed? You do not lose your time, you lose your right to job. Good job, you can't get a good job once you have been into this system. There's a family now that another family just got their children removed. And this family put herself forward to support this family, to take those children temporarily. Do you know what they said? They said she's not qualified. Why? Because there was an intervention, there was a concern raised that against her, but we came in quickly and we stopped them from taking that child. But because there's a name, her name is on their system, she can't support that family. So you are not the only one that will lose. Your community will lose as well. So if any of us on this platform now, they find out now, we can justify that, but there was nothing found against her, but the children are already gone. So we need to equip ourselves. A stitch in time saves 9. Prevention is better than cure. The systemic racism is real. So we don't want to pay the price. If they take a child one day or 1 week, they will expose them to a lot of financial exploitation. They take advantage of those children. Children they love goodies. They love chocolates. They love a lot of good things. It's just like husband and wife. If you have money, you can spoil your wife, your spouse. But if you don't have, it's beyond your control. But there's a system that has this money to explore those children, to destroy them completely. So don't let us take that risk. It's a big risk if you are not empowered. Those of you in Nigeria, you are coming. Please, we cannot say more than this. Even subscribe, share with your loved one. Let them listen to the real life stories on those YouTube channels. And Allah will see us through. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ola. Do anyone have questions? Can we just take 2 or 3 questions? I know a few people have asked questions, but do anybody have any pressing question? I know some people have said about the book, about the course, how to get there. Any other question apart from those questions? Okay. I think people do not have any question. Okay, can we just be sure that we've been talking to people? Can you please say just give us a feedback? Useful, helpful, resourceful, great insight.
And don't be panic. Don't be panic. We are not here to scare you, but we have to tell the truth. We need to be honest. It's a difficult conversation. Everybody knows that, but we have to tell you the reality.
Yeah. Please don't change your mind because of this not to come and train, begging you. It's just there is help. and there is support among your people.
Yes.
That is the main thing. And I think this, there is, and I'm sorry for other tribes that may be in this audience or in this meeting, but there is a Yoruba adage that says, "Ogun asotele in paro to bagbon." That just means that a word that has been foretold, or that has been a date and a time has been told that we are starting this war at this time. A crippled that is wise, is not caught unawares. So we just don't want to be caught unawares. Because I know, that the training is very tedious. When you start, you would know it's very tedious. And there are issues and challenges in the training already. Let's take this away, by doing two things. One, register, for the 201 course. Watch the 101 free. Subscribe to Save the Woman YouTube channel. The other thing we're asking is for you to like, share, subscribe, to the YouTube. The whole essence is that we all know, as the subscription increases, the viewership increases. I mean, they can now monetize the YouTube and get some, funds from it. So there are little ways we can support this good work. And, that is just one of it. He has shared his account. He has shared some of the other things that they do to add value to people in handcraft things that they do. Look at it, see how you can and help. And the book, my book that I shared as well, you can get it on Amazon, but if you really want it, I have some copies with me. As I speak, I'm in London now. I can even send it to you. I brought some with me and send it to you. I know some people sent me some stuff in the last meeting, but I couldn't. You sent your number, I couldn't get through to you, but get to back on the platform, or send me a private message, and I would, talk about it. Those are just a few things we are asking. Subscribe, share, like the page, support as you can, and get the book. That is basically what we are asking. I think there's some questions there. Ola, is anyone pertaining to you in all the questions? Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Can see comment.
Yeah. Oh,
I actually cried while listening to you.
wow.
I got another one. Excellent presentation, very useful resources for us as GP trainees, also to know how to help our communities. We are working with, information is key, and we have been informed. Thank you so much. Thank you. They are trying to respond to your comments, and that we are talking to real people,
Oh, yeah. At one time it was as if, but keep rolling it, keep sending it.
I've seen another one, useful, resourceful. Thanks to everyone who has spoken. God bless. I've got another one, extremely useful meeting. Thank you, Dr. Elijah, Mr. Ola, Sherry, Mariam, and Christian. It is the Britain that make me Mr. Ola, popularly Ola. My full name is Ola Leko. So, it's part of what we are talking about. Oh, your name is too long. How can we? But it's a good name. I love the name Ola. I was given when I went to India. That was in 2012 for some presentation. So they've got some song, oh la la. So, and I went with my British friends. So when we came back together to England, they said, "Can we continue this?" I said, "That's lovely." So and I'm happy with that anyway. Happy to be called Mr. Ola. Thank you.
That's the funny, the behavior too. We have to, just be, as Africans, we are quite blunt, frank, straight to the point. But when you get here, and for those that are in the UK already working here, is a stylish and thematic thing.
Just to add to that, these skills I learned them from volunteering back in 2011 when I first came to do my master in Coventry. So if you have some spare time, rather than chasing money, you can also volunteer in some roles that can equip you. Or this strategic way of dealing with the system, handling the situation, because it's not what you say that matters. How you said it, how you present it can be misinterpreted, can go a long way. And you need to also stand on your own, So let them know what your value, what you are. So that's it. Like a Christian I mentioned, I've picked some words from what she presented today. I've never used those words before, but I think it's harder to me now. Thank you so much.
I think talking about volunteering, I want to say that I'm in the psychiatry posting now. There are a few things like I've facilitated teaching for the medical students. No money given, nothing, is a paper that they give you, congratulatory, and they will tell you that is only paper that they will give you, to just commend you for volunteering, which is not a problem. I've also, volunteered to be an invigilator in the final year student, and that really showed me, what is behind exams. The way we are anxious, apprehensive about exams, you find out that is not so much of, so when you volunteer, like Ola said, it really helps, so let's just get a balance in doing our locum, but when you see an opportunity to volunteer, sometimes they would ask you for research, to be part of research. It may just be collection of the data you would do, but be willing to volunteer. Well, yeah. But we will talk more about that, as doctors. There are a couple of stuff that I have in line. One of it is for all the group member, the admin group persons to share about their postings. At least some of us would have gone through 4 postings now, and we've all gone through different postings in which some of you would be in. It's almost the same. So that would be, I've just shared little about my psychiatry posting. So just stay in touch. Someone said, how do I get this recording? We would be putting it on the forum, the WhatsApp forum, and download it on my YouTube channel, really. Because it's a big, this is about 2 hours. We can't put it on the forum. Just get the link where you can, go and watch. So good. Somebody, I don't know. Okay. Oh, okay. Ola, you're replying them, right? Trying to. Yeah, are you replying them?
Yes, somebody asked, do you have a Facebook page to share? I know few people from South Africa who will be coming to UK soon.
Okay. So the recording will just be a link, but we have a YouTube. You have a YouTube. My YouTube is not necessarily, it would have been some of the work I've been doing before this new project that I've just started. So, but we always upload our meetings to my YouTube. But Ola, he has shared his YouTube.
I've shared the YouTube. I've shared the LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You can also follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. And I'll be sending some of the recordings of his stuff as well to our platform. Okay. Yeah. I think once again I want to thank Mariam, Jerry, Christine. We'll all see Christine sometime in the future. She's a financial educator. She does something that we all need as a people. So she will be coming in. Today, she has just volunteered to help me with the administration. She volunteered a YouTube, Zoom subscription to us, to myself as well. so that we can accommodate as many as possible that want to come in. So thank you, Christian. Thank you for being bold to, to share your testimony. I do really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, I think that is it. What do you think?
Yeah. Please, we've put our social media link. You could find us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and most importantly, on YouTube. We want a good number of hours. Please take your time. Watch the video. You enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to say again, what we are asking you to do as a people is subscribe to his channel, to his YouTube channel, like the page and share it, please. So to increase viewership and so that they can monetize it and move from there. Basically, if you like, if you want my book, private message me or something, and we will create a way to send it to you. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Hope it's been a value-added session for you. And just watch out for more meetings that we'll be putting out there in the next. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.